Welcome back, everybody, to the after show for episode number 78 of FinalBossTV, your wild and game rating show. To get it, as always, I'm your host, Adam KK Bay, and we're talking about Resto Druids. And if you watch the main show, there was some discussion during that episode. Words were used.
Quotes were made.
Yes, quotes were made, words were used. Affinity and Jarre here. We're talking about Resto Druid stuff. We're taking some questions from chat room and from Twitter and the likes and stuff and all that good stuff. And yeah, let's do this. Right. So if you guys have questions, please, you can tweet at us on Twitter at FinalBossTV. Let's see. I have some that came in real quick. Oh, Mr. Bear. That was a question we didn't really bring up. My ult is a Resto Druid, but do you think that Resto has too many tools to heal with compared to other healers, like paladins or priests?
I don't think we have enough.
No, our toolkit's actually fairly basic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have one tool for any job for the most part.
When you keep up Life Bloom on one tank taking damage, you reduce spam the raid, you wild growth on cooldown.
Regrowth on clearcasts.
Regrowth on clearcast.
And obviously all of those things are subject to your gear level. Obviously,
course, yeah, sure.
You know, if you're going to scale back your wild growth and rejuvenation use as needed based on what you can support. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I would like it if we had more. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think more spells could be good if done properly to give us a little more flavor in our rotation. But yeah, it's for the most part pretty simplistic, I'd say.
Yeah, it doesn't, because I guess I haven't really healed. Obviously, Resto Shaman heal, and it's just kind of like Riptide and Chain Heal and some waves, and there's sort of like not a whole lot of buttons for healers to hit anymore right now. So,
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, their intent was probably to make germination sort of an extra thing for us to try to think about, but because it ended up not panning out and losing symbiosis and bloom from a mushroom, we ended up kind of down a couple things on top of the pruning.
We still have a lot of buttons, but there's really only like 3, well, I guess 4 like healing spells that you use. Like I have, let's see, 1 through 5, all of my, I call it Naga, even though I've got the Logitech version, but the Naga keybinds are all bound to different things. But in reality, it's like lots of situational spells, but not a lot of actual healing spells.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, things like planting your mushroom and efflorescence are obviously important, and they count in terms of buttons you have to push, but they're not things you make decisions on. They're kind of stuff you just have to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gara, longtime supporter to the show, asked, if Force of Nature, instead of summoning a few trees, acted like Starfall, but dropped trees on your raid instead of stars, would you take Force of Nature over other talents?
It would have to do a metric ton of healing to be worthwhile.
Not the fact that it drops trees on your raid?
That would be pretty badass. Not gonna lie. Like during farm, I like when I was talking earlier. Like if it could drop a ton of trees that just like run around and bonk people on the head, like I would pay good money to see that happen. But, lots of trees.
Lots of trees.
I could see using it during farm for the lulz factor, but. I don't know how they're ever gonna balance that entire like tier set because Soul of the Forest, it's so mandatory. It's obnoxious as hell.
Again, like looking through the thing, I think they really need to move around talents to give you guys level 100s that are all like power picks, and then
yeah, I mean, they should either make Soul of the Forest or Tree of Life baseline so that we kind of have both to play with. Like if we had both of those options at the exact same time as like a baseline option, then I think that would add a little bit of additional gameplay to Resto Druid. It's kind of like Shaman where, you can go with AG, but then you also have, other gameplay. But I don't know if I don't know that they'll do that.
Probably
Tree
not.
of Life, Tree of Life just needs, it needs a tweak. As I said, I think what I was going at before could be really strong if you gave them a fixed cast time and had them scale off of all of your secondaries, so they at least got maximum benefit for their uptime. Then that might not make them good, but it would make them a hell of a lot easier to balance. Because right now, I just think they struggle at getting the numbers right for that spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you kind of pointed it out, and I hadn't really thought, like, I hadn't put a lot of thought into it before, Bay. But when you were like, well, that tree is honestly more important than the level 100 tree,
Yeah.
that's
It
like,
is.
I honestly hadn't put a lot of thought into it before, but I was kind of like, holy crap, you're right. Like, it's really stupid that the 100 tree seems a lot more trivial than like Soul of the Forest does, because Soul of the Forest is just the level of mandatory on that is just like it hurts.
Yeah. I mean, it's just power spikes, right? Like,
Yeah.
I look at, if you look at your talents, your 100s, I mean, granted, 90s, I guess, last tier, last expansion were the new things. So they were obviously power picks too. But it just seems like you have like a weird balance of where the power picks are, and they're
Yeah.
not paired up against another two talents that are like as strong. So you just never
Right.
pick them.
Yeah.
To make talents balanced, you have to put them all in the same area, so you can only pick one and not just get all of them.
I would love to be able to go into a boss encounter, or I guess, I don't know. It would be nice to go into farm more or less, or even progression, where you go to one boss and you go, okay, I actually have to pick a different talent.
Right.
Like there's like that was their goal, right? With the entire new talent system was that they wanted you to be situationally picking talents based on, this specific situation. And at least with Resto Druid in particular, and even Boomkin, because I've been playing a bit of that, it's really kind of like cookie cutter and you're good to go. And it would be nice to go to a boss and go, okay, I need incarnation for, whatever reason. Or, I actually want rampant growth. So we're going to go ahead and spec into that. But you don't even have like one fight a tier where you decide you want to do that. It doesn't ever happen, and
I mean, that's what
it's a failure of the system ultimately.
Aladia wouldn't come on the show for Holy Paladins previously, because all he would be doing is talking about how there is no choice and all he does is heal tanks, and it's just like really like it's a straightforward. There's nothing you can customize about your paladin, and they knew this in beta when they saw Beacon of Faith. They were like, "Up, there it is."
As soon as we saw that, like I think that was one of the original talents that was actually at BlizzCon, wasn't it?
Possibly, I think so.
Think it was, and everyone
those
was just kind of like,
pictures.
yeah, everyone was just kind of like, I don't care what you put up against that. That's just it's done. That's way too good.
It's over.
Yeah, like the group of BL people that like we ran over to the computers after they had announced that was available. We sat down and it was like Rig, myself, and like I think Bobino was there. And as soon as we started screaming out what the talents were, I was like, no, just no. That is way too good.
Yeah. Let's see.
They'll figure it out eventually, though.
I mean, Neil Jack asked, do you feel Blizzard has run out of stuff to do with Resto, with half the talents basically non-existent? But I mean, like, there are, I would imagine, Jarre would know more about this too. It might be a little more in-depth with like the community issue and maybe forum stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that you guys have plenty of options and suggestions and things you put forth. So there can't be like a drought of ideas.
No, I mean there clearly is some listening going on. I mean, I remember back, I think Lasana on the Team Waffle podcast joked about, hey, can we just make wild mushrooms heal? And everyone's like, that's a crazy idea. That's never going to happen. And then a month later,
It happened.
It happened. And you're like, well, okay. Granted, they did a terrible job of implementing it, but you just. I mean, you do kind of wish that there was some more kind of critical listening as far as what does or doesn't work and kind of how players are feeling, because their response is usually if you can't offer a suggestion or some type of technical solution, it's not helpful. But something's not fun is a perfectly viable answer.
Yeah, I really don't know what the change happened with everything like this. I don't know what, because I don't think DPS has had this much of an issue. I think it really comes down to tanks and healers. Has sort of always had this, like, there's no choice in our talent choices once we went to this new talent tier system, and everything feels like and there's no options. You just kind of pick the same thing over and over and over again. Maybe it's because dealing damage sort of changes on a fight-to-fight basis more than just like taking it or healing it. Is that maybe the more bigger problem here? It's tough to call. I don't know. Huh. It's weird. The question on Twitter comes in. Do you think the flexibility of non-healer utility from Resto Druids have worked out so far in Warlords? So knockbacks, Ursals, rooting, maybe even damage. I guess you could say Butcher was like one thing he was good at. Has that been okay though? And is that because when you talk about like Holy Paladins before, like hands are so abusable with you know, Hand of Sack, Hand of Protection, stuff like that. So
there's only been what, Butcher, and then I mean, if you did the CC strat on Iron Maidens, right? That's been it.
Maybe.
Yeah, we did that.
I did it too. Yeah, we did it too. Hunters and Druids. Yeah.
Right,
CC
but
for days, yeah.
I mean, outside of that, that's really the only utility that you've really gotten out of a Resto Druid. So
yeah. And you could do it with we did it with Balance and Resto Druids. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't specific to Resto. Right. I would like to see them use more utility. Potentially. I mean, they coined this whole, okay, you have 20 people. There's only one difficulty. There's no 10 versus 25. So you can assume that you have X amount of whatever class in the raid. So that's kind of where like Blast Furnace with the mind control thing came about.
Yep.
I figured like they pushed this so hard at BlizzCon as being a possibility that it seemed like they were probably going to do something more along the lines of like, okay, you can assume you have 2 or 3 of X class, so you can use X ability for X boss mechanic, but they haven't really done that yet. So did they give up on it? Probably.
Probably. Oh no.
I feel like they probably dropped the ball in that regard because they really made it seem like that was going to be a major focus at last year's BlizzCon, and then it didn't really kind of come out to be outside of that one boss encounter. We'll see what Tier 18 provides, but I don't really think they really hit their goal on that one.
I would agree.
Yeah,
we're never gonna Druid utility is never gonna compare to Paladin, period. Though, because I mean they lay on hands, all the stacks they have. It's just, I don't know. It's going to be hard to come up to that.
Stacks and bops, like, really.
Yeah, knockbacks are useful for resetting Blast Furnace.
You're reaching now. You're reaching.
I know. Really, yeah.
Daniel wants to know if absorbs are only blocked a portion of the damage, like 30%, for example, instead of all incoming damage, and maybe had increased durations to compensate. Do you think that would bring absorbs back to line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We had spoken about that a bit before the show, and it's something like the healers in Midwinter had spoken a lot about that. The healers in Blood Legion, when that was a thing, spoke about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Cutting in line with absorbs is always going to happen, but if absorbs don't do 100% of their absorption up front, that adds a little bit of gameplay to Disc Priest outside of just coat the raid and powered shield, and it makes them not as potent.
But they're supposed to be like a support healer anyway.
But they're not supposed to be that good. Like
right.
Basically, you're just turning the absorbs into absorbs over time.
Right.
Exactly. That's what
that would be fine. I would be. Yeah. It's not a 100% ideal situation, but I think it would be better than what we have now.
Because in that regard, like Sacred Shield, which is an absorb that instantly puts up an amount, and then it deteriorates if it's not get and then it refreshes with a lower amount. Like Sacred Shield works in that regard as an absorb because obviously other attacks, other damage gets in between the windows of time.
Right.
Whereas if Powered Shield took 4 hits to actually absorb its 100% amount, 25% per attack dealt to you, that almost kind of puts itself a little more in line. I still am a huge proponent of that. I think it needs to have a cooldown. having to like go PWS on everyone in a raid is just not good. I think it's just toxic gameplay for healers. Just spam a button and have so much throughput.
Since they're number one and I'm not, I am inclined to agree.
I just having to hit a button and gain that much effective HP on everyone in your raid, like individually, like one, as you go through like the whack-a-mole of
right
shielding everybody. Like, because I think Inner Will is great. You can cast it twice, stacks twice, big shield, has a cast time, has a choice, has a talent. That makes sense. Powered shield though.
It was cool. Like absorbs were cool on like Nefarian, for example, when it was literally like the crackling lightning or whatever it was called. Like it was literally life or death if you had those absorbs on you. Like that was that was kind of cool and special in its own regard. But you're not at that point anymore where like a boss mechanic can literally one-shot you if you don't have it absorbed. So
I have memories of going into farm on in Throne of Thunder for the last boss, and that point where your absorb healers get so good that Thunderstruck hit and no one's bar moved.
No one took damage.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
right.
I was so mad at that.
That was the worst turning point. You're like, oh come on.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I always trank here. My trank's about to go out, and then the damage happens. You're just kind of like, oh. Okay.
What do you guys think of your new tier set? Does it strike you visually?
I transmog out of every set ever. So
really, I think it looks kind of cool.
I really really like our tier 17 shoulders.
Now, mythic or normal?
The mythic ones.
I'm trying to bring it up on stream.
The wing.
Right now.
It's the wings.
The
like
wings.
They flap and everything. Yeah. No, that's it's really cool. I honestly haven't looked at the. Let's see if I can find it. MMO Champion.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's kind of weird.
Oh god.
Well, you're talking about the tier 17 has the wings. Your tier 18 is what I was sort of hinting at here. Tier 18 druid is a little bit. Let's bring it up on stream here.
It's okay.
Here's
if it had wings, I would be okay with it.
It's very woody. I'm gonna say it's like it's kind of weird. It's kind of morbid. It's like a dead stag helmet sort of thing going on here, almost like a wolfish maybe head. And the antlers are cool. The helmet looks cool. I think the shoulders are kind of weird. This is the normal version in chat room. Just like sticks. Yeah, I got sticks on my shoulders.
Well, the mythic one is like toxic and dying,
sticks.
isn't it?
Fell sticks. Yeah, it's all fell oriented. You go from like being clean and like naturey to fell corrupted. Yeah.
It looks okay, I guess. I hate that MMO Champion models it on the human male model.
I know, right?
It's always
and it's
the
old human male model too.
It looks so bad.
God damn it, MMO.
I mean, right now I think everyone really likes the druid tier set because you have the little dragonfly wings. It's kind of cool. I like it.
I don't think it looks bad, but I still think the tier 17 set looks better.
The dragonfly wings and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bug wings, so good. Tier 18 druid is the forest hobo. I mean,
oh my god. Cannot be unseen.
Cannot be unseen, right? Damn it. I think the problem is that you're wearing like a cut-off halter top as a dude.
Speaking of things, it's totally random and off topic, but I was watching it recently. So speaking of things you cannot unsee, have you ever watched the show Silicon Valley?
I have not. I've heard of it though.
Okay, if you ever watch Silicon Valley, the one guy in it looks exactly like Ian Hazakostas. Like, once you see that and you watch that show, you will never unsee it, ever. It's hilarious.
Before chat room like freaks out because they've watched the show. And
For those of you who have seen that, you'll never unsee that now. I promise you.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry. That was totally random, but
let me looking for other questions in chat here. Got a couple more minutes. I don't know. Yeah, all mythic sets get fell corrupted. Yeah, Rizzo's totally correct. Oh yeah. Not all of them though. Like Paladin doesn't get fell corrupted. It gets like more Final Fantasy-ish. But yeah, they should do druids with the tier only sees 40% of the lower screen because you have this stupid helmet on that covers up your face. Yeah. I mean, all the tier 18 sets are sort of very Burning Crusade throwbacks. So, because we're in Hellfire Citadel again. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Yeah, I think chat's like dying right now. People can't like talk normally. The chat is like exploding. People can't get logged in. So, if you have questions, please go to Twitter. FinalBossTV on Twitter.
Not a big fan of the Paladin one, actually.
I like the normal heroic paladin. The mythic one gets a little too awkward. I like the normal heroic paladin. Looks like a judge from Final Fantasy.
It almost looks like it's the.
Why does the paladin tier always look retarded as hell?
Some of them do. A lot of them do. Yeah.
We need the priest toilet bowls back from.
Oh geez.
What tier was that? Tier 11.
Black Temple.
No, I think it was. I thought it was tier 11.
The blessing bowls, but the toilets.
Yeah. That was a good set.
If Balance gets a new Moonkin form, well, Northern Man, I imagine when all those forms get updated, all of them will get updated. You'll get new cat, bear, Moonkin, tree. Yeah, needs to happen.
Well, so, we technically have a new tree, technically.
In Incarnation Broccoli form.
Yeah.
But not the actual treant form. It's still circa Burning Crusade 1999.
No, that's the treant that's like goes back into like Felwood. I mean.
Yeah, Burning Crusade. That when they did that, well, it could be Vanilla WoW actually.
No, I'm just saying like the actual treant artwork goes back to Vanilla WoW.
Yeah, it's forever. Same thing with
it's a nice 2004 model we have there.
Well, I say 1999 because the game was in building for 4 years, 5 years.
Well, right,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the weird thing too, as I said before, is that the Boomkin model is the Ogre model, just reskinned. But there's a new Ogre model, but not a new Moonkin model. So, but obviously can't do one Druid form without doing all of them. So, I'll have to get updated at the same time, which they should. I think, I don't know if Chris Robinson said that it's coming, but I imagine it has to. I can't imagine they're going to go, because they updated the wolf form for shaman. Like, what the hell? Come on. Update the druid shapeshift forms. I don't care about my ghost wolf form. It's just a patch in because the game got a new one. So, are you happy you can mount in tree form?
Wait, what?
Can you mount in tree form?
Really?
What?
I don't
know. Let me log into PTR. Let's see this. There's got to be a bug. There's no way they'd let that happen.
I can't possibly.
Like in treant, like the glyph treant form?
Like treant, like on a mount? That doesn't sound right. Let's find out.
Because when you
now, I haven't tried it, but you can't mount the wolf in the Grand in tree form, can you?
It always like complains about being in a shapeshift form, I think.
You can't take a taxi right now.
Yeah, because you're shapeshifted, yeah.
Yeah. You can't even
the one form you've never been able to mount up on.
In certain forms too.
That's kind of the weird thing.
No. I just tried to mount up on PTR and it just shapeshifted me.
Well, Feral Druids shapeshift, Bear Druids shapeshift, Balanced Druids too. Yeah. They usually glyph stars because the Moonkin form looks awful. But yeah, Resto Druids don't shapeshift much. Like, tree form is now a cooldown unless you glyph Treant, which you just become the old tree form, which you were always in to heal. So, I don't know. The new broccoli form looks great. I think it looks awesome. We're looking at it in chat right there. Like, it looks good.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of awkward that like female characters turn into this giant bearded.
No, I know. Well, don't. Oh, please, Jar. You're gonna bring up how Claws of Shrivallo is a male model and not both male and female. Yeah,
no. I'm not gonna bring up the political BS.
I know.
It's kind of just. I personally don't like the tree.
I mean, there are no male or female cats or bears or moonkin. So
it's too look. No. I'm not opening up the SJW thing.
Oh God.
I'm not going there. I was just saying that it. I don't know. I just didn't really like the look of it very much, even when they first debuted it.
Yeah, we don't want new forms. We want updated forms. Exactly. Yeah, Moonkin. I mean, is launch. At least Cat and Bear got some updates, like face-wise updates in I think like Cataclysm. I want to say, but Moonkin is it is literally the Dark Shore Moonkin model from vanilla World of Warcraft. So,
yep.
Yeah, they don't. That's true though, Hunting Bear. That's right. You're right. You're not wrong. You glyph stars. You can't use flap. That's right. And the thing is, too...
Flap is awesome.
I'm getting a glyph in the patch where I can minor glyph ascension, so I don't turn into the stupid, like, ascended elemental guy. I just turn to, like, an elemental form of my character. So they have other visual things coming, so I'd imagine they have to do druid form soon. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Boomkins don't use stars, we use flap. Exactly.
Can we get a treant flap? That'd be great.
Well, you can light yourself on fire as a treant.
It's close enough, I suppose.
It's close enough.
One of my favorites is going into treant form and then using the nitro boost and just running around with a trail of flame behind you as a tree.
You should do it when you're on fire, though, obviously. Yeah. Touch that campfire, man. All right. I think that's a good way to talk about the ending of the show, is the tree that you actually can burn, literally. Because, yeah. All right. Button time, gentlemen. Woo, boy. Sorry about chat room. If you guys had questions, of course, you can always tweet at these two gentlemen, and I'll tell you where right now. You can go follow Jarre on Twitter at Rank4HT, Rank4 Healing Touch on Twitter. You can ask him questions and things. Thank you for being on the show again, sir. It was a pleasure.
That was a pleasure to be back.
Very awesome. And of course, there's Affinity. You can tweet him questions and things on Affinity US.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As always, thanks for having me. Pleasure being here, etc., etc. Nerf disc. Words.
Yeah. A couple more weeks from now. We'll see.
That show is going to be a shitstorm.
Oh my god. I gotta find the two priests we're gonna bring on for that. I gotta talk to Drevka, but he doesn't really play much anymore.
Get Siori on. That'll add like an ultimate level of salt. Like so much salt on that show. It'll be glorious.
We'll see. Of course, anything you guys know about Final Boss TV is on FinalBoss.tv, our YouTube, our Twitter, our Facebook. Boop. All down below. The next 2 Sundays will be Melee DPS. One will be DPS DK. One will be Retribution Paladin. I will let you guys know on the social medias. On Facebook and Twitter, you follow us there for information about who's coming on the show. If you have questions for either Retribution Paladins or DPS DKs on Holy or Frost, send them in now. The Ask a Boss button right down below the stream. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone behind the scenes appreciates all the support. Hopefully Twitch doesn't explode today, but I can't even log in still, but we'll see if we get there. See you on the YouTube comments, and have a great week, everybody. Trust in your seal of tempered fate, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.